What's good, y'all? We are live. In case y'all haven't caught on already, it's a different voice. It's gonna be me and our boy Isaac leading the episode today. Episode number
What
66
it
for y'all.
do?
What it do? What it do? But episode number 66 for y'all. Christian and V will be joining us back next week. It's the first episode Christian hasn't been on, so long deserved break for him. And all that as well. But we're going to do a deep dive, me and Isaac here for you guys. It's going to be NFL, some NBA. First part for the NFL, we're going to go through some Week 10 recaps. We're going to go through the podcast predictions. I'll also go through the podcast standings as well and see where you guys, or see where we are at currently in the middle of the season. Going to talk about some Joe Burrow and Josh Allen action. Josh Allen has been struggling immensely, and it's just kind of unfolding, unfortunately, this season. Again, they had Super Bowl hopes. Kyler Murray comes back. I know y'all talked about that a little bit this week, but going to get more of Isaac's take on that as well. Going to talk a little bit about Josh Dobbs, our NASA head. And then from there, we're going to jump into the NBA. Obviously, some big news with the James Harden issue. Clippers 0-4. 76ers, possibly contenders, as we'll dive into that. Zach Lavine and our Bulls, rumors are heating up as they may possibly break up. Thank God. And then probably the last part, obviously we might ad-lib some stuff. We might add some little things here and there. The Milwaukee Bucks. So they've taken a deep dive defensively with Damian Lillard, which was expected, but a lot of people are seeing that they are struggling a lot more than usual with all the talent that they do have. So going into that, let's get into our Week 10 recaps. Let's get into it. So here we go.
What it do?
Let's see right here. So our Week 10 recaps, there was a lot of good games. Obviously, the Monday night game. We'll start off with that one there. Again, Denver and Buffalo Bills, man. How do you get 12 men on the field? How do you get 12 men on the field in a field goal situation when you have three coaches that are supposed to watch that? And Sean McDermott said that that is something that they worked on 3 to 4 times in practice this week, switching from dime defense over to the field goal unit, and you still managed to mess that up. How's that possible?
Leave 12. I think one of the analysts said it right last night. Buffalo did not deserve to win that game at all, bro. More turnovers. First of all, you started the game off with a turnover. And also, too, this still shows, like, I think they released, like, a little app, like, who in the playoff race, and they put the Broncos in the playoff race. No, this just solidified the Broncos are still ass, too. The Bills just suck.
Exactly. I mean, I will give the Broncos props that they showed up. Like, they didn't – it's not like they fucked up with the Bills, you know what I mean? It's not like they both gave each other the game, but the Bills should have had this game regardless. At that point,
regardless of anything, you got too much talent on the offensive side of the ball to where Denver is still struggling offensively for you not to pull that game out last night. Exactly. And so many opportunities they gave you too. It was that's no.
Now, one thing I do want to talk about, Josh Allen. Are we kind of overrating him a little bit? Are we underrating him? I feel like at this point he's just overrated. I mean, it could just be me because he's always been turnover prone. But it's just because it's getting magnified now because they're actually losing and he's not really leading the team, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't say it wouldn't be overrated. I can't say that just because he's doing the same thing he's doing. It's just like, to me, it's like the Vikings thing. It's like we always talking about them last year and they only had was like 9-0 with like these close games. This is the same thing with Josh Allen. Like he turns the ball over way too much, but like in other years past, either the defense or it was enough offensive time for him to like make up for it for them to win. And right now it's like teams are keeping him off the field. That's what Denver did. I think Denver had the ball for like 30 minutes last night. And Buffalo only had it for like 15 or something like in that range, a little bit higher than that. But it's like a give and take with Josh Allen. It's like you let him be him, or I feel like he struggles with you trying to put him in a box and he can't be in a box.
Weird. It's like we got that same issue with somebody in Chicago, like, putting somebody in a box and all that as a quarterback instead of letting them do what they do. You know what I mean? It just kind of rings a bell a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
Then they let the backup fake it all out. He had to manage the game. Sorry, Tyson.
But the next game, we'll kind of just go backwards here. Jets and Raiders. We'll just talk about that one real quick here. Again, another just quick recap over Week 10. I'm happy for the Raiders, bro. I mean, granted, it was a shitty game, But you've seen the attitude switch from one coach to another, and I think that's very important.
Other,
But the only thing that's going to be more important is that if Antonio Pierce, I would say if he goes at least 500 the rest of the way and maybe misses a game or two out of the playoffs, and again, with Josh McDaniels, they were nowhere near sniffing that. If they don't hire Antonio Pierce as a coach and he finishes around 500, that's that's another poor mistake that they could have done. Two coaches in a row now that they should have hired.
Yeah, that would be two. Yeah, that's going to be two in a row. I just think right now, Antonio Pierce got them guys working. I think the offense is a little struggling just because it's a rookie quarterback right now in the backfield. But for you to go like, you know what, skip it. We're going to run the ball as much as we can. And I'm going to keep scheming different ways to get Josh Jacobs down the field.
And that's what they did last year. That's what they did last year. Like, they were running this man like he was your leading rusher in the NFL for a reason. Like, and you're not going to find ways to get him the ball in different areas, whether that's outside of the line, whether that's through right in the middle of the defense right over there, or even on a draw or something. You got to get him involved in the game in order for everything else to open up. And that's with any type of offense at that point. That's with any type of offense.
And then that's the biggest thing with that, too. When he was watching that game, I think they brought it up. Pierce has brought him in the room, like, tell me your top 10 play, like, what's your go-tos? So we can find different ways to get you back to those go-tos and let you stay with what you like. And that's what's been the difference I think with this team. Like, he cares about the player so much. He's a player. He sounds like a player-oriented coach to where, like, you got Devontae Adams saying, like, I'm ready to run through a wall for this man already. And they only been together for, like, a couple games now. Like,
and you've seen the switch in his attitude. Like, from when it was in that Detroit game and then the last 2 weeks, that's just crazy. Now, I do have a quick question. Do you think that they should – now that they kind of got, I mean, obviously Aiden O'Connell is the rookie quarterback from Purdue. He's starting now. But do you think that Jimmy G would actually be in a better position right now with Antonio Pierce as the coach? I think that's a valid question. Because it's not like Jimmy G was initially in the early part of the season not being able to throw for yards. I think it's a valid question.
He could be. With Antonio Pierce, I think it could change the game for Jimmy G, but I think the same thing with Jimmy G is for like most of these guys. This is health. Jimmy G can't stay healthy that's the one thing. If he can't stay healthy, then it's hard to like keep him on the field. And then we're gonna keep breaking rhythm with keep trying to insert Aiden O'Connell over and over. And it's like at this rate, let Aiden O'Connell stick and see what we can find. But I think right now with this team kicking, you might want to bring him back out just because there's only 2 games in with like a couple games in with Aiden O'Connell. But you got the experience on that side to at least like trying to push you down. And he's normally good for the regular season for you.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I think it's a valid question, though, that they maybe bring him back and obviously not have him throw fucking 40, 50 times a game like he was with with Josh McDaniel as head coach. I think it's a valid question. I don't think this one's any type of discussion, really. The Giants are just down bad right now, but the Cowboys whooping them again, 49-17. I mean, I don't think it was much of a statement game. I just think that it was more of a get-back game for them after the previous week and losing to Philadelphia. They needed this type of victory, a dominant type of victory. I mean, other than that, I don't think there's much. I don't got much to add on that. But
that's just a pure ass whooping for Dallas, just to put on them. They was a little bit pissed off in the last game. The Giants are not good this year. There's nothing else to say about that game.
Next one we got here, this was a close one, Washington Commanders and then the Seattle Seahawks. Now, are you surprised that the Commanders kept it this close, kind of with their D-line getting separated, losing Montez Sweat and Chase Young? Or how are you looking at this game? Are you looking more so bad on the Seahawks or more so good for the Commanders?
I think both teams are good because they both been floating around. And then one thing I think about Washington right now, I think, which is why they try to not break them up a little bit, but try to make a little bit of a change on the defensive side. The offense for Washington's been turning up this season. So it's like, I'm not surprised by this type of outcome with a Seattle team that was already struggling coming in. And for them to pull it out, it's like, it's nice to see them pull it out because you've been watching like a Geno Smith struggle this year. And he's actually had a good game this past Sunday against Washington, and he was able to pull out the game down the stretch. So it's like, I'm not surprised about that it was that close because I was expecting the Commanders to win. I picked the Commanders, but I was expecting it to be that close.
Yeah. And I think it's a thing there too where people figured out kind of Geno Smith. You know what I mean? Like, again, like Geno Smith's been in the league a long time, but for him to take the league, and we kind of seen it like with Daniel Jones last year as well, kind of just being a whole different type of quarterback. But I think more so now people figured out Geno Smith this year, and he's kind of come back down to earth. But I still think he's I still think he's a top 15 starter in the league, no matter what, though. So Seattle's still in a good position towards the end of the season so far. So, next one here, we got the Falcons and Cardinals. We're going to talk about the quarterback of the Cardinals a little bit on a couple of topics here, but Cardinals squeaking it out against the Falcons. Does this say more to the Falcons being, again, one of the worst teams in the league, or does this say more about the Falcons and more of their inability to really put everything together?
Wait, so is it just about the Falcons? Is the question?
No, is it more so that you're more like, does it say more about does it say more about the Cardinals and that Kyler Murray comes back and that maybe, even though they're talent-wise, they're one of the worst teams in the league, but if they have their quarterback of the future, or does it say more about the Atlanta Falcons and that their inability to really put all this talent together? Because we can't say that they don't have talent.
They don't got a quarterback still to me. And that's the key thing in all of this. Like Desmond Ridder, Taylor Heineke, not your future quarterback, neither one. It's like Kyle Pitts barely still touching the ball. Like, this is outrageous. Drake London still not touching the ball.
But does that go to coaching and scheme though? I don't think Arthur Smith is that guy.
I don't think he's that guy, but I don't think Arthur Smith is that guy, but I damn sure know Desmond Ridder and Taylor Heineke's not that guy either. Like, them three, all three of that, no. But I do like that Arizona had Kyler Murray. We're going to talk about it a little bit later, but it was going to happen, I felt like. And we all called it again. We talked about it a little bit last week, just having him back on the field. Mm-hmm. It's just a pickup for the Cardinals. Now, what they want to do down the line, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, all right, most definitely. And then the next one here, probably one of the more exciting ones of Week 10, Lions and Chargers. Lions squeaking it out on the last second field goal, winning 41-38 in a high scoring affair. And Lions just finding ways to win at this point. They just finding ways to win. You know, I watched it, and when I was going through the clips and stuff, and we posted our new clip of like contenders and stuff. I think the Lions are contenders. I was watching that. I had to a little bit disagree with V, as he said that they were not contenders, but I think that they are contenders. I think they really are.
They got a defense and a real good offense. It's just heart.
Hey, that running back duo is perfect complement of one another. Perfect complement.
You getting either ran over with David, or you literally can't catch up with Jamar Gibbs. So it's like, but to have Jared Goff still throwing for 330 yards because you got a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Josh Reynolds and them still taking off, it's like, you can't just say they're not contenders when they pulling out games like this. Like, Chargers was coming in, picking up steam, and then it's like, let me take that steam again. Like, this team, outside of the Ravens game, Detroit has been kicking ass all year.
I just think too, it was more so it was, I wouldn't call it one of those like what's the word, like a surprise game, or like, you know, like one of those games that they took for granted. I just think that it was just one of more, like, every good team goes through that type of game with another good team. You know what I mean? And I think it kind of snapped them back into reality. Like, we gotta keep it going, and we gotta keep it locked in at this point. I think that's really what has set it back. And we saw it with this game here. The Chargers are a good offense, but at the end of the day, Detroit's a better team. And obviously we saw that. Let's see here. And then quickly go through this other one here. Another surprising comeback victory. Browns coming from behind to beat the Baltimore Ravens. I thought that was kind of crazy, but I think it showed a lot of what Deshaun Watson can possibly do. He can come back against a good defense, and hopefully he keeps the momentum going.
True, and it also tells you once again, this Cleveland defense ain't to be playing about. Like, you made Lamar struggle. Everybody has struggled against this Browns defense. Yes. And it's hard to even get a throw off when you got freaking Myles Garrett breathing down you every 5 seconds. It's like, he already in the backfield with you. So it's like, when you keep a team like this and then Deshaun Watson start picking it up, like, in terms of helping that team out, because he has a lot of damn weapons in the receiving room. He needs to use them and needs to get back to his old Texans days on the football field. But he just has to pick it up for them, because if he elevates his game just a slight bit, the Browns can be real contenders and make a real serious run in the playoffs.
Yeah, they can. As long as that defense stays healthy. I know last year they were kind of a little bit by injuries, and then they had the talent, but at that point we saw that it was really just coaching, from going from their previous defensive coordinator coach down to Jim Schwartz. So that's been a huge, huge difference for them. Obviously this year so far. So hopefully they can carry that out. And then the next game that we got on the slate, this one here, another surprise one. We'll kind of talk about this one as well a little bit. Vikings and Saints. What? I'm going down the order here.
I thought you was going to bust out the CJ joint.
I'm surprised. I am.
What's you surprised about?
Because you know what? It's kind of, I don't know if this is a wild take or not, but I think the fact that Josh Dobbs is being able to do this, it kind of almost seems like it's too good to be true, and it seems almost as a better fit for the Vikings.
Okay, I won't disagree with that. Just because he's more mobile than Kirk Cousins. So his game changes. His game changes a lot. And for him to start the year off playing well for Arizona, and you just to be like, all right, let him go because you wanted to start something else. I think that's what it was. You made him you made somebody who's playing well even hungrier, and he got better weapons. So it was just like he walked into the right situation. Kevin O'Connell was going to make sure he was set coming from the get-go, and that was somebody he didn't want to make that move to go grab Josh Dobbs. Exactly. I think that speaks more to him in this situation. Now, the real thing is, if Jettas comes back and Josh Dobbs takes even another leap with Jettas, you might need to be thinking, like, who should be your quarterback next season? If Josh Dobbs is going to stay this electric, and along with elevating his game, the pass game with Jettas, you might need to,
because think about it. They could clear, they don't got to re-sign Kirk Cousins for $30-35 million. Shit, we just got a backup quarterback that can possibly be our starter, who's mobile and actually expands our offense for possibly 10 to 15 million, and we can actually bolster our defense. But the defense is not even playing well. So it's like, all right, now we can actually pick and choose what pieces we actually want to put around this team instead of putting all of our money inside of the offense.
Yep. Now they do have to go get a running back. This is sad, but they have to get a running back. But you got it. I just think you have to think about it. Don't command. Kirk Cousins is going to command some money back, but it's going to be kind of like weird just because he was your QB. And I still think he was playing really well. And he was actually having a great year before he tore his Achilles. But it's just, I think right now with Josh Dobbs having that extra element of his feet compared to Kirk Cousins, be able to move in and out of the pocket like that, you open the game and playbook up for so much more, and he's throwing well. I think you might really need to look at, I say you got to keep Kirk Cousins, because if this is like a one and done thing for Josh Dobbs, make sure you got to back up. But I think you might need to be looking at starting Josh Dobbs.
At this point too, I think the Vikings are gonna keep Josh Dobbs. Like, to be all honest with you, I think they're gonna keep him.
Everybody's loving it.
I think it's been a seamless fit, and obviously either way, he's gonna more than likely go after the money, but I think he's really gonna look for fit, and I think that this team really showed that it's a good fit for them. And obviously, I think Kirk Cousins is probably gonna be out majority of next year already with the Achilles injury. Obviously, unless he decides to pull an Aaron Rodgers and come back in 3 months, I don't think that's possible for him. I don't think he went that route. But it's something that, we obviously got to look for and all that. Next one here now. All right, I'll break it out for you. Left, right, left. All right, there we go. I'll break it out for you. But Texans over the Bengals. Texans.
Man, CJ. I'm not going to lie. They put up the numbers between him and Mahomes. Just Mahomes got a little bit more touchdowns, but CJ is literally carrying a Houston team into playoff contention. I don't care about winning. That is the real MVP right there. I'm in Houston right there.
I think you have to put him in the MVP conversation, because this team was projected to be one of the worst teams in the league.
And they got everything working for it. everything working for them outside of Brashad Perriman's stupidity of hitting people.
Yeah.
But outside of that, you have a great quarterback who doesn't fold under pressure. This is a big game against a team that's supposed to be another we call Super Bowl contender. And he literally drives down the field, does another like, hey, let me seal this game again. Like the confidence there. Devin Singletary is like picking up for you. You got that. He picked up over this weekend. And then you got things like a Dameon Pierce who also he was good last year. Don't know what's going on this year. Might be the scheme for him. But we still got pieces. But the receiving core for CJ Stroud right now, he's like having fun out there. Like this is like I'm watching college CJ. He like darting it every
slinging that.
Noah Brown, Nico Collins. All these guys like eating week to week. It don't matter who not to. Even Dalton Schultz getting back to eating. Like you gotta trust this team. This team can be real dangerous, man. Shout out to D'Amico Ryans, man. My man's really got this working in Houston. Shout out to CJ, bro. I'm hype, man. Ohio State number one.
You know what? Actually, a good Ohio State quarterback that's actually performing.
Thank you. He broke the curse.
He broke. I'll happily say that with confidence. I believe that he broke the curse of Ohio State quarterbacks not being able to perform. This one here, again, we kind of talked about it before we started recording. Steelers over the Packers. Steelers are 6-3. Mike Tomlin getting that team to work. That defense, steel curtain.
I'm just still, like we were saying before we started this, I'm still surprised with you that these guys are 6-3. They've been outgamed for the majority of these games.
Mike Tomlin, TJ Watt, man, like as long as those two are together, you have the opportunity to finish over 500 for the season, no matter how bad the offense may possibly be. Yep. It's that crazy. It is that crazy. But I'm happy for them, man. I mean, they still got to fix the offense, obviously. That George Pickens, whatever free me stuff. I mean, at this point, I think he's kind of putting the me over we. That's just my personal opinion. You should be happy that you're 6-3. You should be happy that you're in the playoff hunt, and maybe you can perform in a playoff game when that time comes, and you can change the whole narrative. But who knows? Next one here, Jaguars got thumped 34-3. I think that was kind of expected. Now with Trent Williams coming back, Debo came back as well. They were just running on all cylinders there.
Yeah, Jacksonville was already struggling too. Yeah, it's nothing to say about this game either. Yeah. It was expected. The team struggling coming there. Now they healthy. They were gonna do some work this week. This one I was kind of surprised by. I honestly thought Tennessee was gonna make it at least a closer game or more of a chance, but the Buccaneers, the defense showed up for him. Baker played a solid game as well, as he's been all year. I think we can definitively say, though, that I believe that Baker has not cost this team as much as people may think, if that makes sense. No, I think right now, when you look at some of the games they lost, yes, there was some of the games like the Eagles and the Lions game where they only scored 11 and 6 points. Yes, you could blame Baker and everything like that. But I also got to look at Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles is a defensive-minded coach at this point. And you've gave up games where it was like 20 points here, 25 here. Shit, you gave up 39 to CJ, and look what you started. Look at that. Now, I think the defense has let you down a little bit more in certain games just because, like, when you fight like that and we give up drives down the stretch, or it's like when the offense is on and we give up games like the Houston game, it's things like that. I think the defense has to be better for, like, the Bucks. You can really say that it's not Baker's fault for having this record or anything of that nature.
And I think this shows that he can be a starting quarterback in this league, but I just think it's more so to where your team has to be perfect on both sides of the ball talent-wise. Your team, I feel like your defense got to be top 10, at least top 5, and you have to have the personnel around him, wide receiver-wise, running back, and even offensive line-wise, to where it is perfect. That's just what it is right now. And I think we've really reached that point in his career. I don't think he's done by any means. I still think he's going to be a starter, but I just think that we really see that everything just has to be perfect around him. And again, nothing wrong with that unless he goes to another team, but I think he's found a home in Tampa Bay. I definitely believe that.
Yeah, I think he does.
And then the last two games, probably one of the worst ones. Obviously, the worst two games to really start the week. Colts
We
beat the
got to talk about.
Patriots. Yeah, Colts beat the
Woo!
Patriots. I don't think there's anything to really say. The Colts or the Patriots are bad, and the Colts are just grinding out wins at this point.
Shout out to Mac Jones, baby. You suck.
Man, and then again going back to the Thursday night game, Bears defeated the Panthers. Now there was that headline of, "Oh my God, Tyson Baggett, whatever, got his second win. Is he the new starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears?" No, 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 no. You beat the worst
I'm
team in
tired
the
of
league,
this.
but you beat the worst team in the league by 3 points. And you're saying that this guy who barely beat them should be considered to be in the starting quarterback role or even have that possibility in next year. No, no,
Like,
no.
I just like how quick they both doing the same thing. He struggled in the Chargers game. He struggled in the Saints game. Just because he thumped the Raiders, who were struggling at that point, and he thumped the Panthers, does not make him a starting quarterback to me.
Oh, whoa, put some respect on Thump, okay? He didn't thump nobody.
Well, he thumped the Raiders a little bit, and it wasn't even him. It was freaking Dante Foreman who thumped the
Exactly.
Raiders. So
Exactly.
he's managing the game right now, and I think that's what's fooling everybody. Because like we're not doing the same thing with Justin. The play call is not the same with Justin. The gameplay is just not the same. It's just not. It's somebody's managing the game. We run the ball a lot more. Shout out to them actually getting it done. The offense was struggling with Justin. That's the issue. Everybody was struggling, running backs and all. Like,
Exactly.
stop this. Like, we got to stop this, man. Bears still need a quarterback at the end of the day, but stop all this.
Like
Give
I just
Justin
don't
his
get I
chance.
just don't get where I just don't get where people are at of like, oh, he should be our new starting quarterback. He got 2 wins out of 4 games or whatever. Congrats. But we see that he was a D3 quarterback for a reason. Congrats that he made it to the NFL and made it as a backup quarterback, but that's what he is. He is not going to be a starter in this league or for this team.
He might be a great backup.
Yeah, but
That's
I'm
about
saying
it.
at the end of the day though, he don't deserve the job over Justin Fields. Justin Fields has, again, I will keep harping on this. I will keep harping on this. He has not been given the proper chance to prove himself. He hasn't.
I'm on the same note as that, but I'm on the same page as like it's been too damn long. But also, I still don't think it's a coach that still fits his play.
No.
So it's
And if
not
you
going.
saw that, and
Yeah.
if you are
So
a Bears fan and saw that press conference as well, oh, he's doubtful. Oh, he's not going to play tomorrow. But he's not medically cleared, but he's doubtful. We're going to mark him as doubtful. Oh, is he going to play tomorrow? No, but he's doubtful. We'll see where he's. That's just showing that as a coach, you do not even know where your head is at that point and the dysfunction that is actually going on. And you've had two coaches who have left because of workplace misconduct.
I just think he got to be let go. I don't know why we got Eberflus. There's so many other coaches we could have had.
I don't know, bro.
There's so many other people we could have had. So I think either you try to make a move, get rid of Eberflus, but you need somebody that's going to elevate Justin Fields' game and actually try to bring out what you want to bring out. So, but if we're going to get hyped because he's managing the game properly, I guess.
Yeah, whatever, bro. But I mean, whatever floats people's boat at this point. Whatever floats their boat, bro. At this point.
Yeah.
But so I kind of got this hot question that I kind of thought of, and more likely to win a Super Bowl at this point in their career. We kind of touched on the one quarterback a little bit earlier, talking about the Week 10 recaps. And then we'll go into our podcast predictions at the end of the NFL thing as well, since that's more of a quicker thing, but more of a conversation here. More likely to win a Super Bowl, Joe Burrow or Josh Allen?
Joe Shiesty.
Yeah. Why?
Like I was saying earlier, Josh Allen turns the ball over too much. So it's a give and take to everything. But when you get into these games where it's like a Patrick Mahomes or even Joe Burrow, these two teams that you surprisingly can't beat, and Pat Mahomes take care of the ball each time, Joe Burrow take care of the ball each time while still matching your numbers, it has to be a point where he has to be able to limit the mistakes while also still getting the numbers he normally gets. And even with him, it's not just his mistakes. Buffalo makes too many mistakes. Like, there's nowhere in here like James Cook should be in the ball ripped out of his hand on the first play of the game. Or even like trying to hand the ball off to James Cook and the ball just falls on the ground. There's things like that they can't happen. So I think, and it comes with Josh Allen's risky play and everything. I understand all that. And I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but if he's going to constantly turn the ball over in these big games, or even just any game in general, it's really hard for your team to pull out games, especially against these quarterbacks like a Pat, even CJ, where they take care of the ball, but it's like still matching his players. It's going to be tough for Buffalo to do anything. And Joe Shiesty's already made it to the Super Bowl. So I'm going back to the quarterback who already touched the Super Bowl.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think it was like in my mind, I was thinking that it's kind of a more of a conversation because obviously they both equally as talented, but I just think that Joe Burrow just rises more to the occasion and I would say invites the pressure. I don't think Josh Allen is made for pressure. I really don't. What besides the Chiefs game when he took Pat Mahomes to overtime, even in the game that they lost and he didn't even get possession in overtime. But really, like this season, with all the injuries, kind of with everything going on coming into the season around Stephon Diggs and him as well, you're not really rising to the occasion. You're not really like rallying the troops. Whereas Joe Burrow, like I feel like Joe Burrow took more accountability for like what was going on. Like I can't really move around, but once it gets better, we'll be back. We'll be back to what we were. Our offense is going to be just fine, and the defense is coming along. I just feel like there's more accountability on one side than the other at this point.
Yeah. Okay. Now I see what you're saying, but I just like it's just part of Josh Allen's game, though. Like,
yeah,
you can't tell him not to take the risk because the risk is what made Josh Allen. So it's like he's going to make those reads, those same like type of risky throws down the stretch. Yes, and in some games it's going to pay off. Most games it don't pay off. I can't say like it's just that it's that risky play. It's hard to tell you to make an alternate change on that. It's like because if you do, I feel like he's not going to be as productive as he normally is, and that's not what you want. He has to find some way in his mind what shots are good to take, what shots are not good to take. Can I really make that throw, or can that guy even get over there to cover that throw? It's things like that he needs to be thinking in his mind constantly instead of thinking, I'm always going to make that throw. And it's not. You can't always make that throw because you always get that throw picked off sometimes. So like,
exactly, bro. I just feel like at this point it's more so him just realizing like, and we kind of touched on it, like. Is it maybe coaching to where he's playing in a box and feels like he can't be himself? Maybe it is that. But at the same time, with the amount of talent that you do have, I think that this conversation should be a lot closer instead of a lot farther than what it is.
Farther it is, yes.
I got you. Man, at least we agreed on something. At least we agreed on something. Facts. You know what I mean? At least we agreed on something. And then last major thing, before we head on over to the NBA and talk about some of that. So again, we kind of touched on it, and I know you guys talked about it a little bit this week, but I'm going to let you more so give a full-on opinion on it, and then we'll skip over onto the NBA. Kyler Murray leads Arizona to a win. Now, we kind of talked about it before when he was injured. Maybe Arizona wants to audition him for other teams for, possibly leading to a trade. Do you feel like that's what this is, or do you think that they really wanted to see where he was and maybe he can lead this team to a couple of victories so then that way they can actually surround this team with some talent for him at the end of the day?
I'm predictor. This is an audition for teams, specifically the Giants. Okay, that's my prediction. It's specifically for the Giants. So when the Cardinals keep winning games with Kyler Murray is going to look great. And it's going to fit the mold of the New York Giants. You're going to get a quarterback that can actually throw better than Daniel Jones and still be able to run the football. Look at that. Now they got both. And if you keep Saquon, I think that elevates Saquon even more. But Kyler Murray can make I think this is what you're doing. He had the ACL injury last year. He's coming back from it. And it's like, we're trying to make that decision on quarterback of the future. A lot of people are iffy on Caleb Williams, but you're not iffy on Caleb Williams. So you're literally just auditioning him so you can make a move to go get Caleb Williams.
Now, I do got a question about that. Is
He is not number
Caleb
one.
really that guy? I don't think he is.
No.
I really don't.
You
I
know who's that guy?
really don't. Who's that guy?
You know who's that guy? Michael Penix Jr. in Washington is that guy. Okay. He is that
Look,
guy.
look. I know he because he came over from Indiana.
Bo Nix
And
is even Jaden
Bo,
Daniels. Those three are the
well,
Bo
look,
Nix.
you know what? I'm honestly gonna say this. I don't know. Again, I don't know if this is a hot take. I think Jaden McDaniels is more prepared for the NFL and what's to come and the talent that he's gonna face rather than like a Bo Nix or a Michael Penix Jr. or even a Caleb Williams.
No.
But because he plays in the SEC, which is the closest thing to the NFL, which I believe we all can agree on.
But also worked in freaking Jaden Daniels' favor. I've been a fan of Jaden Daniels since he was at Arizona State. You know what the key thing of who was his coach at Arizona State was? I believe it was Herm Edwards. That is already NFL experience. You getting NFL eyes, NFL reads in the back that's in your head already. Then you switch over to the SEC to go change your game, and your game elevates to where now you technically are kicking NFL like level ready defenses. Like in terms of size, speed, the closest thing you can get to the NFL is the SEC. Guys have already said it in the NFL and everything. I'm on the same page as you. I'm watching this kid play. I watched him play with Arizona State all the way up until now, and it's just like I've been seeing this coming. And I was hoping the Bears was gonna make a move on him at some point, but it's like it's not gonna happen. But I just think everybody fell in love with Caleb Williams in his highest year, while LSU was struggling. LSU is not struggling now. Jay
You mean
Daniels doing the
OU?
same thing.
For both of them for their Heisman stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. So that's my one thing. And USC is like they struggling and stuff this year, and that's where you actually get to see Caleb Williams actually not be Caleb Williams because his teams. You see him now. He's been red. Jaden Daniels has already been seen, and his game went up even more.
Yeah,
I gotta go, Jaden. I don't think Caleb Williams is that guy.
I don't. I really don't because if you look at it, who has he really beaten? Because everyone's saying, "Oh, he's a generational prospect, this and that." You know what? That he's the one that he's probably the best QB prospect to come out of college. And did everybody forget Andrew Luck was that dude before he got injured and retired 4 or 5 years into his career? Like, did everybody just forget? Like, because he could run and throw the ball. Yeah, he was bigger and stockier than Caleb Williams, but Andrew Luck carried that into the league. He carried that and again, going to Stanford, which is not a powerhouse for football as well, and being able to elevate everybody around him. Caleb is not going to do that in the league. I don't think he's going to do that at all.
I'm not going to say he's not going to do that. That's where I'm going to say that's a stretch for me. I'm not going to say that. I just think right now whose game is a little bit more ready will be Daniels. Caleb Williams he shows you the talent he has in terms of when he gets out the pocket. He's in those stressful situations, which draws you to like, cool, because now when he's in the NFL, it's the same thing. Like we watching Pat Mahomes do these type of throws, Kyler Murray do these type of throws. Still translate to the NFL for these guys. I just think when you fall in love with something like that, yes, it's a generational talent, but also too, a lot of people are looking at it in terms of like he's had to put up a lot of points every game, and it looks bad just because when the games are tighter, it's like it's hard to keep scoring when you've been scoring over and over. Your defense need to do something for you at some point. But that like I just think right now, even with that even being said, Jaden Daniels, I feel feels like finds a way to get it done in this situation, no matter what with this team.
Yeah,
like he's scoring with the SEC guys and still find a way to get a win. USC is supposed to be the best team in the Pac-12 and can't get a dub. Like
and I'm still gonna remember and harp on what we talked about before when Lincoln Riley went to USC. They're still not gonna win nothing.
Yep.
They're still not going to. They're gonna choke the 1 or 2 games that they're supposed to win to keep them into the college football playoff or whatever the case may be. But that's it.
Would you fire Lincoln Riley though? Would you fire Lincoln Riley after this season?
I don't think USC can afford to do that. Now, not saying afford financially, but I don't think that they can afford to, at least of what's coming talent-wise, because I think he's going to get the talent. And now, especially that they're going into the Big Ten, I don't think you could risk that.
But ask yourself this, is the outcome going to just be the same for you? because you have to be able to beat the Ohio States and Michigans in the Big Ten. And you still got UCLA coming over with you. So, and Washington and Oregon. So it's like, what changes? So if you guys don't keep the same guy, this is like almost like the Bears situation. You're gonna keep the same guy and keep bringing in these new pieces. Where do you elevate it? Nowhere.
They're a middling team. When they go to the Big Ten, they are going to be a middling team. Now, it's yet to be seen, and if they're going to if they may break it up even more, besides of what they really have, as far as like, standing wise and ensuring everybody, has a fair chance to get to the Big Ten tournament and whatnot, or the Big Ten championship and whatnot. But I think they're going to be a middling team in the Big Ten, because people rather go to Ohio State, people rather go to a Michigan, things of that nature. Again, people are still, he's going to get the talent. He's going to get the talent at USC and all that. Yeah, they're going to get that talent. But at the end of the day, they're going to be a middling team with all that talent. Yep. Same thing.
That's what I got.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Again, it's going to be a long while, and we'll see what Caleb actually does after this season and all that too. But I thought that was an interesting take, because I really don't think he is this generational talent. Maybe he is. Obviously, we got to see it, but I just really don't think he's what everybody's portraying. So we're gonna go through here real quick. You got so we got our overall standings for our podcast, NFL. Yeah. So let's go through the standings for me. Go through our Week 10 standings, and then go through the overall standings for me. Let everybody know what.
All right, y'all. So you already know it's the head honcho in all of this. So look. This week in the Week 10, we got some special news. So me, Danny, and Vitor all came tied in first this week at 10-4, with C's, who tried to steal a game from us by taking that Chargers game. He went 9-5. Now, for the overall standings, the head honcho, a.k.a. me, is still number one at 136 on the year. And I lived up to my expectations of making my picks on the podcast and stayed at number one. Now, C's is 92-44 in second place. Vitor is, I don't understand how this is working, but Vitor is hanging on by the thread of his ass right now. He's still one game ahead of Danny at 89-47, and Danny is really pushing to get to that third.
I'm getting out of fourth, bro. I'm getting out of fourth. I'm getting out there.
Bro, y'all have been close for the last, I want to say, 3 weeks, bro.
I'm coming for that third spot. It's gonna be like semi-pro. All right, third place.
Yeah. So since you've been chasing him since week 7.
Mm-hmm. I know. I've been chasing all y'all since the first week. I've been chasing y'all from the first week.
But literally been one game behind Vitor since week 7.
And then so we went through that there, and then now you can do me a favor. We'll do our podcast predictions here. We'll get Vitor and Christian's predictions as well. I will go through each game one by one, and then we will give our wins and losses. Are you able to keep tabs on which ones we choose?
I already got my stuff open for it.
All right, bet.
So I could take. Okay. All right, then. So the first game, you got to talk about Thursday night football. We got the Cincinnati Bengals at the Baltimore Ravens. Who you taking?
This is at Baltimore as well. I think we're actually going to see a really good Thursday night game for the first time. And I'm going to go with the Ravens.
Ooh.
Ravens going to keep that momentum going. Let's go.
Cincinnati defense is getting better. Now, they did struggle against Houston, though. That's the thing to me.
Yeah.
And the Ravens struggled last week. Fuck it. We're going Joe Shiesty gang. I got to see if I can steal that game.
All right.
Bengals, Ray. I go Bengals.
All
right. Let's start off that Sunday slate, though. Starting at the 12 o'clock game, one of the 12 o'clock games, we got the Bears. The Bears, they suck. At the Detroit Lions.
Lions. Next game.
I got the Lions. Next game. ain't no talking about that game, bro. We got the San Diego Chargers at the Green Bay Packers.
I'm gonna go Chargers on this one,
Chargers. Man. Yeah,
Chargers.
that's too easy for me. I don't even like the Packers, so I don't even know why I even. All right. Interesting game. Could be interesting game. Could be. Bucks at 49ers.
I don't think it's gonna be anything close as well. I'm gonna go Niners.
All right, I'm with you on that one. Okay. It's the battle in the AFC North. You got the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cleveland Browns. We in Cleveland, Danny. Who you taking?
I think it's gonna be a really, really close game.
I feel like it's coming down to defenses in this game.
I'm gonna go with Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm going for the upset there.
Yeah, I ain't going on no damn upset. Kenny Pickett finna die in that backfield.
He is, but you know what? He may just get that one lucky touchdown. That's all we'll need.
I think Baltimore may have woken up Deshaun Watson, so that's why I might stick with the Bears on this one.
That's who.
I ain't going. And now the next game, we got the Arizona Cardinals at the Texans. I'm not betting against CJ. I'm going Texas. I don't care if it's Kyler, Clayton Tune. I don't care who back there. I'm not betting against CJ right now.
Yeah, I just think that they're too hot right now, man. I think they got everything rolling on all cylinders. I'm gonna go the Houston Texans as well in this game.
All right. Let's keep it going, Danny. We got the Titans at the Jaguars.
I'm gonna go Jaguars. I'm gonna go bounce back game. I think the defense shows up for them. I think the offense actually puts some points on the board, and I think the Titans will struggle with Will Levis and company. So I'm gonna go with the Jaguars in their game.
I just feel like this is one of them games where you just look at Jacksonville and be like, what the hell are y'all doing?
It's a trap game. I will say it's a trap game for sure. I think it's a trap game as well with Arizona and Houston, but I think more so this one is a trap game more than that one. But I'm going to still go the Jaguars.
I'm going to go Titans in a close one.
Like that.
Yeah, I'm going to go Titans in a close one. Trevor's still struggling. Number 13th ranked defense, so what? I'll take the Titans in this one. All right. We got that 2-0 Antonio Pierce Raiders at the Miami Dolphins.
Unfortunately, I think the Antonio Pierce hype train stops here and then continues after this game possibly, but I think the Raiders get thumped. Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, I got Dolphins, bro. I got Dolphins on this one. I just think it fizzles out. Dolphins are good against teams that are at least 500 or below. So, I rock with the stats on that one.
Yeah.
Next one, we got the Cowboys at the Panthers. Who you got? Cowboys.
I'd really love to just say I'd really love to say Panthers just because, but I'm gonna go with the Cowboys.
Not the way they protected Bryce. Bryce gonna die back there.
Yeah, that too.
I ain't finna do this game either, kind of. Giants at Commanders. I'm going Commanders.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is a game that the Giants end up squeaking out, but I'm going to go Commanders as well.
All right, Danny, we got Jets at the Bills.
Why? I just think this is going to be an ugly game. Why do I feel like that?
Let's see. Buffalo just fired their offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey.
Remember what I told you, Stephon Diggs. I think this game that he's going to get like 15 targets.
Not with
I'm gonna go though. I'm gonna go with the New York Jets in the upset. Even though I don't think it's considered an upset, I'm gonna go with the upset New York Jets by a field goal.
You know what? I don't like Mac Jones, but I damn sure don't like Zach Wilson. Let me get the Bills.
Tough. All right.
Next game. I think this is a closer game than expected. You got the Seahawks at the Rams.
Seahawks. I don't think that's really any combo.
I think Matt Stafford might come back though.
I don't care.
Still Seahawks.
Still Seahawks.
I think Gino played a lot better last week, and it feels like an upward trend is coming for him. So yeah, I'll rock with the Seahawks.
Let's get it.
All right, we got 2 games left. The Sunday night football game. It's gonna be interesting, just because it's really 2 teams. I feel like that's like in the middle of that water. You got the Minnesota Vikings at the Denver Broncos.
I think the momentum keeps going. Skull Vikings over the Broncos.
9 takeaways in the last 2 games. The Vikings defense, I don't think is explosive as the Broncos defense, but they are getting better.
And if Jettis comes back this week. And I know you need that for your fantasy team.
You ain't lying. Hey, I'm still thinking about trading that motherfucker, though. I'll be real.
Just saying, man.
Do I really want to go with Dobbs game?
I think you do. And I think you should. Josh Dobbs is that dude.
Hey, bro, I might text y'all tomorrow and change my pick before the game even get there. I'm going Vikings.
All right, let's get it.
I go Vikings with you, but I might change my pick. I might change it. Eagles at Chiefs. Monday Night Football.
It's going to be a banger, bro. It's going to be a banger, I think. But I'm going to go with the Chiefs in this one. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. Going with the Chiefs.
No.
I think the Taylor Swifties take over. All right.
I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm going to tell you Taylor Swiftie something. Okay. Kelsey's going to have a good game. Outside of Travis Kelce, I don't see a damn soul Kansas City having a good game. Not a Rasheed Rice, not a Kadarius Toney, not a Sky Moore, not shit. Not even my fantasy running back, Isaiah Pacheco. And you telling me this Kansas City Chiefs defense supposed to stay with an A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith?
Hey, we're going to see if this defense, they shut down pretty much the Miami Dolphins. I think they can do the same exact thing.
The Eagles ain't the Dolphins, though. Remember, rain, sleet, or snow, Eagles ready to go. Remember that.
Just saying. I remember it.
So you going?
I'm going Chiefs.
You're not supposed to bet it. I know you're not supposed to bet against Mahomes, but if it's some hurting on the other side, you got to go Hurts on this one.
I'm just saying.
That's me on this one.
I'm just saying.
Now watch me have the shit. As I look at my picks, watch me have the shittiest week picking with just Danny this week.
Watch. It's going to
happen. That's okay. I got a comfortable enough lead.
It's going to happen. All right. Well, that goes through for our podcast predictions for Week 11. Again, we'll get that up and running for you guys, and we'll also post our overall standings as well this week before official Week 11 games start. That way you guys can see, and then that way you guys maybe have you guys pick who's going to finish first for Week 11 in the standings there. But now we're going to jump over to the NBA. Just got 4 topics for you guys mainly. And I think they're really, really big topics so far that's kind of going on around the league right now. So, again, the Clippers are currently playing the Denver Nuggets. Clippers are currently 0-4 with the system, supposedly. He is a system, James Harden. Clippers, I believe the Clippers made a business decision. They did not make a basketball decision. Now, I say that because they are opening a new arena in Inglewood, and they need names to attract themselves and continue to separate themselves from the Lakers. That's never going to officially happen. No, we already know LA runs through the Lakers as far as the NBA goes, but I think the Clippers just closed their championship window whatever championship window they could have possibly had with this team before James Harden. It's officially closed now with James Harden on this roster.
I think the championship window was open without James Harden. I'm glad you talked about the Inglewood thing, but I think what they were looking for was another point guard because it was just that iffiness with Russell Westbrook.
Mm-hmm.
My only issue is that you could have got you could have went to grab a server Super One, or even just trust Bones Highland in a sense, because the team was playing well without James Harden, and I already called it. The two people that should not be suffering on this team, and I feel like they are suffering on this team, well, as of lately, he's been picking it up, is Paul George and Kawhi.
Yep.
And now Tyronn Lue saying like we're gonna play through James. I still think that's a mistake too, because in my eyes of watching these games, I've never seen Kawhi move so much without a basketball. I've never seen Paul George move so much without a basketball. It's normally in their hands for them to go make a play. And then I feel like the person who's struggling the most will be a Russell Westbrook, who was actually being efficient and getting you rebounds and assists before James Harden came in. And I just feel like it's not enough basketball, and you can't have all four of them on the floor. You can't have all three of them on the floor. It's not enough there to where it's like James can be James, Paul can be Paul, Kawhi can be Kawhi, because it's all going to keep clashing over and over to me. So I think another trade is imminent by the trade deadline. Don't know who it might be, but if they want to stay in the contention to me, but I'm on your page, Dan. They might have just closed that window bringing him in, because I don't see who they can beat. Like these bigger teams where it's like solidified roles, solidified styles, understanding what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and they don't have an issue like a Phoenix. Phoenix shit is like they kind of stop turning the basketball over. This is literally like my stars are suffering left and right.
And all three of them just got to be healthy at that point. I think that's really what it is, so everybody actually can settle. But I think that the Clippers would have been better off giving up assets for like a Malcolm Brogdon. They would have been so much better off with someone like him.
Like a Malcolm Brogdon. Shit, you could have brought in Dennis Schroeder before he went to Toronto. It's little stuff like that you could have did compared to like you gutted your entire depth. And we're gonna talk about it a little bit later about the Sixers. You gutted your entire depth and gave it to a whole contending team. Like,
and the thing was, it's not even like huge. It's not like Carmelo Anthony going to the Knicks type of depth, but it was your defensive wings that PG or Kawhi didn't have to guard the best player every night.
3-and-D wings that you just said, hey, you can have them. When I think this is like when you building stars, you need 3-and-D guys to surround your stars. And that's what I feel like the bigger teams who all have made moves have struggled with so far, is having good 3-and-D guys. And there's some people starting to pick it up lately, but it's like they don't have good 3-and-D guys, you're going to struggle. And the wrong people on the Clippers right now, minutes are suffering, and they can't have that happening. Like Bones Highland's been benched for too long. They have to find a way to get him back into the rotation. Like, it's little things like that I think that's hurting the Clippers, and it might lead to Tyronn Lue being fired. And it's not even his issue; it's just too much on that.
I'm not even gonna be surprised if that ends up happening. I'm not even gonna be surprised at this point,
and that's why I feel like it's gonna happen, because he's trying to cover up for it. It's just too much in there, and people can say it's never too much. Yes, this is way too much.
Because I think too when we've seen like trades of like star players. Obviously, we always talk about, and it's always the main thing of, oh, there's only one ball for these guys. We already said that there was already going to be one ball for Russ, Kawhi, and PG. And you already had all three of them starting together. Now, the question I pose is that, or even the statement I'll say, James Harden should be coming off the bench for this team.
Because he gets your second unit going. Just like how CP3 took a back roll. Like he started every game. He said, I'm going to get the second unit going because now they have a score, and not a score, but somebody who gets them in their spots and shot, and somebody to really lead them in that second unit.
Yep.
That's what James Harden was supposed to be coming in at, to me. Like, that's the spot. That's his role. That's what James could be James, but you let Russ and those guys who already got that connection, let them be on the floor together. But right now, I feel like, yes, they're figuring it out. I'll give them that. Let's see what happens. It's only 4 games in. Because we can still say the same thing about these other big threes and other trades that have happened. It's still early in the season. But if we get into the middle and the same people is like, Kawhi has a great game, but Paul George doesn't. Paul George has a great game, but Kawhi doesn't. And James Harden still, quote unquote, getting his numbers, then I think it was a horrible trade.
I honestly already can say that I think it is a horrible trade. I highly, highly believe that. Because I think that this team, the way that they were going already with their depth and PG and Kawhi actually playing in back-to-backs and actually playing as many minutes as possible gave them the best opportunity to win. Now, yes, did they need a shot creator? I would 100% agree with that, but you could have got that from somewhere else to where PG, Russ, or even Kawhi could have initiated the offense to kind of find like a Malcolm Brogdon or something like that. And Malcolm Brogdon can easily give you an extra 15 to 20 points, and he's a defensive-minded guard that can guard multiple positions. James Harden can't do that. He can't do that. And they're already last in offensive efficiency with James Harden in the first 4 games. That's overall in the season, you guys are going to be a middling offense. And what's going to happen in the playoffs is going to be the same exact thing.
Same thing. Same exact thing. And
the ball's going to stop, bro.
The ball's going to keep stopping. The only reason you'll probably pull out a series or even sneak on guys is because you got some real prolific scorers that could play one-on-one. But, like, even then, it's just like you run into Denver where it's not you play one-on-one, they just don't dice you up with team ball. It's like guess the matchup that they're gonna exploit every single time. Jokic.
No, the James Harden. They're gonna exploit that every single time if he's on the floor.
Oh yeah, Jamal Murray from the cook game every single time down the floor. Michael Porter Jr. cooks him. Put him in screen situations. He's not gonna do it to me. That's what's gonna talk about. He is that type of guy, but he's not that type of guy no more. He never was.
Exactly. That's the point I wanted to harp on, is that James Harden is not he is not the type of guy to get you to a championship. Now, again, he got to the finals because who else was on his team? He had KD and he had Russ. That was the reason why he got to the finals. You can have the perfect team. Nothing else is going to happen. That's it. But I think we're agreeing a lot today. I appreciate it. We're agreeing a lot today. We're agreeing a lot. Now we're going to go and talk about the team that the Clippers just traded with, 76ers. So before this trade had happened and there were rumors talking about it, we said, and I even said it, the 76ers currently as constructed are not a championship contending team in the East. With this move, I believe that they are. I believe that they can compete with the top teams in the East. They can compete with the Milwaukees. I think that they can compete with Boston as well.
See, I think my take was literally like, I didn't think they were contenders depending on how Tyrese Maxsey shows up. And guess who showed the fuck up?
Tyrese Maxsey. That boy good.
Tyrese Maxsey showed up. Okay, this is why they ate too. Tyrese Maxsey showed up. Tobias Harris is back to normal numbers now. It was always like that. James Harden, when he was out, Tobias numbers were good. Maxey numbers were good. Now he's really gone. The numbers are going to stay good. Then you have depth. Then you have that depth of being deep where you can go play Pat Bev, Daniel House, Marcus Morris, like guys like that coming off the bench. And then Nicholas Batum was hot.
Hey, he's hot. He's hooping right now. He is hooping right now.
Hot. And he doesn't have to do it every night. And that's the great thing about it. They're deep all the way down. That is a real deep team. They shaped up almost like in a Denver situation where they can run the guys all the way down to like 9 and 10 off the bench. While you still got your star player and going to go be a star player with another guy who's blooming into a star right now as we're watching.
I'm sorry. I don't like Daryl Morey, but he did a fantastic job with this
Why?
trade. No. I'm saying I don't like Daryl Morey with the James Harden stuff of like preaching that James Harden was this guy because I don't believe that that was even the right spot for him to come to the 76ers because again, once they got him, they were a playoff team and that was it. But I'll give him his props for this one that he fleeced the Clippers so that he can get James Harden off the books from them and possibly set them up to get another superstar towards the future.
Yeah, but also too, I don't think he was with the James Harden situation. I wouldn't say that because he's the reason why we got the James Harden we got. Because when he got, I take what that announcer said, that announcer who called out James Harden, because I think he
Yeah,
was
that was
speaking a lot of
brutal.
facts.
He was speaking facts.
Because because James Harden before he got to Houston, we thought he was going to be something great, but it took Daryl Morey to believe in James Harden to bring him to Houston, bring him Mike D'Antoni, and then create something around a James Harden. So
Oh, I'm
now
not. Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with
but
that. But I'm just saying that he held Houston
but then
James to too high of a standard of where he's at right now. That's what I believe he held on to too much. That's just me.
but I think it was a little. I wouldn't say the reason. Okay, that's what I was trying to get to because I think when he was in Brooklyn, it was just hard for you to look at something like that. When he literally was, I feel like the passing went up because he was trying to play to Kyrie and KD, even though the Kyrie and them are looking at him to do be Houston, and that's not what you was getting. And I think that's what Daryl Morey was like. I think he still has that game. I need another score here, and Maxey's still growing. I need him. I don't think that was a bad move at all. Like it worked. It kind of worked because you was gonna get to the playoffs. It just didn't. It wasn't like a move change. Like you lost Ben Simmons, but you got James Harden. I think you stayed at the same playing field to me. Now I don't think it was bad either way. I think right now it's like he's the winner out of this whole situation because you believed in a guy now he said he doesn't believe in you, forced another trade from another team to go somewhere again, and they're still struggling, and your team not struggling because you fleeced the bag. I think Daryl Morey's winning out of this whole situation.
Yep, I definitely agree. But I think too that I think the fact that it's going so well also saved Joel Embiid from going anywhere as well. I think now
Yep.
this really solidifies that Joel Embiid is going to be in Philadelphia for the foreseeable future. Obviously, if something else does happen to where maybe I mean, this team, I could see
I don't
highest
know.
ceiling, possibly like
I
I could see
don't
this
know.
as an Eastern Conference Finals team if everything hits perfectly for them and
See,
if they
see,
keep the consistency.
and that's where I think where Joel still leaves.
You think he still
Joel's like,
leaves?
hell yeah, Joel gonna be like, bro, I still ain't touched the finals, bro. I've been trying to just touch the finals. I'm trying to get out the first round still. I'm trying to make a run. I want to taste it.
Yeah.
I done got MVPs, all these big years. I feel like I'm wasting my years right now.
But
That's what it feels like to him.
I still think so. I still think that it at least keeps Joel Embiid for Philly for probably 2 to 3 years because he wants to see what Daryl Morey is going to do with those extra assets. I think so.
Okay. I see what you're
I
saying. I see what you're saying.
I think that's what's going to end up happening. Then now, unfortunately, we got to talk about our hometown team, Chicago Bulls. So the Zach Lavine rumors are heating up. Obviously, they're on a bad start to the season already. And I wouldn't even be surprised if they don't even make the play-in tournament. But the Zach Lavine rumors are heating up right now. Again, we talked about it in the summertime on if we should even break this team up, what we should really do, or who we should trade specifically. Now, since the rumors are really focused on him, is it good that we get rid of him or keep him and trade others? Obviously, DeMar is going to be a free agent after this year. Reports are that they are years and salary apart for good reason because he's not a championship player. And the Vucevic trade has been a disaster. Now, numbers wise, it hasn't been, but overall, for what we were trying to accomplish as an organization, it was a disaster in my opinion. But should we keep him or get rid of him? What's your take?
Trade him. Trade him.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's time, bro. Chicago need to. I think you summed it up perfectly a couple episodes ago when it was like, I think they jumped the gun too early, in a sense. I think we had a great guy, Zach Lavine. Appreciate the time you gave us, but like we at a point now where this is not working out at all. Like we said, the same. I don't understand where we thought that running the same team back was going to be expected. I think even the GM got to go. I lost a little faith in AK because it's just like we jumped the gun. We ran the same team back again when we already knew they were already trashed to begin with. We ran it back with them again. We thought that bringing in Javon Carter was a change. Not going to happen. No. Javon Carter is a serviceable role player, not a starter or like some heavy rotation guy like this. And I'm not saying he's a bad player in all means, but when you got two guys who can't take good shots, and one guy's like pissed because the other guy taking shots, it's not gonna work. No. It's not gonna work. I think you go ahead, you trade Zach, you go get some pieces back, let him go to like. I just say don't trade Zach within the East because then you got to see Zach over and over, send that motherfucker to the West. And then DeMar, same thing. Trade that motherfucker too, get something before you don't get nothing for him. And then ride out with everybody else. Let AC stay here just because he's going to be your people pleaser so everybody still go to the games. Like, let him just keep ruling everybody in. Trade Vooch weak ass too. Find something for him. I don't even care if it's a second rounder. Take it. Just get rid of him. Let them all go be something, someone else at this rate, and we start rebuilding this roster in a different way.
It's what has to be done. But you know what? What messed it all up? And again, I was excited about the moves initially. I was excited about Lonzo coming. I was excited about DeMar coming. But I knew the reality of it is that, okay, but we're not going to be a championship team. Like maybe, again, with Lonzo, maybe we would have made it to the second round. Maybe we would have caught a team by surprise, but then we would have came back down to earth again like we did last season, again, without Lonzo. But at the same time, you got to look at the players for what they are. DeMar couldn't get past LeBron James. Again, he is not that type of player that's going to get you there. Vucevic has been on bad teams his whole career and put up good numbers. But either way, he is not the type of center that's going to elevate you at all, and he's only getting older. Zach had I think he didn't have a good relationship with everybody people-wise. Again, we don't know that, but I think that management pissed him off and coaching. Billy Donovan got to go. Billy Donovan should have put, Zach, we're going to put the ball in your hands at the end of the games instead of DeMar most of the time. Because you can see, and I don't know if you watched the Milwaukee Bucks game last night, you saw Zach's body language and what he was doing because DeMar had the ball. And then as soon as Zach got the ball, when the game was lost, we're scoring. He was able to score, and he put up 15 points in almost the fourth quarter by himself. So
and that's my thing. And I think that's my thing. I feel like you can save it, but also he's ready. Zach's ready to go.
He's right. And for good reason. I don't blame him. That's the thing. I don't blame him for wanting to leave. No.
I think what could have saved everything is if Billy Donovan was fired after this debacle in the goddamn play-in tournament against Miami. Like, no BS. Because, like, that's when I feel like he really showed his coaching ass at that rate. Because for you to finally get we all in Chicago was begging for something from Kobe White. And we got it. And you benched him down the stretch. And then you do the same thing. It's the critical moment for Billy Donovan doesn't add up. It just don't. Like, I don't know what is he thinking down the stretch or who on the bench in his ear saying stupid stuff, if it's even that. But I don't think he needs to be here when you rebuilding this roster. And like right now, even reports even saying this is not going to be the same team within a month. And I expect it not to be the same team within a month. I think we just need to, it has to be a major reset in terms of for us to rebuild. Lonzo, I think that injury killed it all. And with the back-to-back surgeries over and over, that's killed. I think it's time to rebuild.
Exactly. It's that time.
Go get some draft pieces. Go get you some draft pieces. Fuck it. Tank. Go get that. What's his name? Cooper Flag. Find a way to go get Cooper.
And see, the thing is too, even when we were quote unquote rebuilding with Gar Forman and all these and John Paxson, rebuilding teams actually get back assets, right? Last time I checked. What assets did we even have during a rebuilding stage? And we still gave them away. It makes no sense.
I'm telling you. And that's what I'm saying. Right now, you got some generational. I don't like calling kids in high school generational talents, but
Cooper Flag would be a good start. Cooper Flag would be a good start.
Cooper Flag is a great start. And I think you are able to, if you get enough pieces and with the guys you can trade right now, you better goddamn it bring some first rounders back. I don't care if it's futures, 9 years down the road, just get some picks back and actually pick well. Don't pick to please people. Pick to make this team the right team. That's what you got to think about. And that's the one thing. I just think we got to reset, bro. 4-7. We had the quickest team player meeting. That's why Billy got to go. The whole team don't want to play for Billy. Andre Drummond's still struggling for some odd reason. You signed him, but we won't play him. Zach Lavine, DeMar, the dynamic don't work. We've been said it didn't work. You staying with it. Kobe White's being forced to still play a point guard.
Hey, and I'll say too, Kobe White's been playing decent, but yet you don't give him the opportunity to continue that play deep into a game. You're going to take him out for somebody else. Like last game, last night against Milwaukee, going into the fourth quarter, he had 16 points. And what happens? He don't even play the whole fourth quarter. He plays Ayo and Patrick Williams.
I ain't gonna lie, trade that motherfucker for real. That's the real. Patrick Williams, I told y'all. I said it. I called it. I said it. I told y'all over and over. Everybody wanted to give him a chance. Ain't no chances. He wasn't like that. He didn't show you he was like that. No. It's not gonna be like that.
You know what? Real quick, I want to take a hold on. I want to take a look back at this draft class. I really do.
Like, because this is no way he was not like that.
2020 NBA draft. Here we go. Picks 1 through 60. I'm clipping the fuck out of this as well. I'm clipping this. Okay, so the Bulls had the 4th pick. Edwards, Wiseman, LaMelo Ball were already off the board. Now, again, I would take some of these players over Patrick Williams already, but I'm going to go next. So Isaac Okoro, yes or no? I would take him because we actually know what he's good at and he's actually improving. I would. But realistically, okay, we'll say no.
That's almost the same person in a sense.
Onyeka Okongwu, I would have took him.
Yeah, because then you have to deal with Vooch, but then I go have to deal with a guy who can't shoot the ball either, though.
But still, I'd rather have a young guy who can bounce out the gym. He can bounce out the gym. Yeah, again, I'm not going to go through every pick. Obviously, Killian Hayes, not good. Obi Toppin, not good. Denny maybe could have been better in a different situation compared to the Wizards. Jalen Smith, no. What?
They gave Denny a Vita a bag, Joe.
They did.
They gave Denny a bag.
But they had no choice too because they had the money. But coming up on some players that I would have taken over Patrick Williams. I would have, again, Tyrese Halliburton. We could have been set. At point guard. Imagine him and Lonzo.
Hey, it's something about the Bears and, and the Bulls, Bears, all the Chicago teams, except for the Hawks right now about picking.
Let's see here. Kyra Lewis, unknown. Aaron Nesmith, 3-point shooter. Cole Anthony. I mean, Cole Anthony can actually.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, he's surviving.
He could actually score and do something. So I would have taken him over Patrick Williams. Let's see here. Maybe Sadiq Bey. He would have been better in a good situation, maybe like Chicago to actually get, I don't know, maybe. Tyrese Maxsey, of course, obviously. I would have took Emmanuel quickly over Patrick Williams as well. Jaden McDaniels, I would have took over Patrick Williams. There's at least 6 to 7 players that we said that we would take. Oh, let's not also forget that they chose Marko Simonovic and decided to give him no minutes as well, and then they released him this year.
Okay, Marko Simonovic was trash.
He was trash, but that's what I'm saying. We had all these other options. Like, honestly, like, really? This is what we're doing?
I ain't gonna lie, this drive class was ass.
It was. There's probably 10 good players. There's probably 10 good players outside of this draft class.
I'm trying to agree with you. I'm like,
but either way, though,
I don't know.
Bulls fucked up.
I'm looking at this draft. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I'm looking at this draft class. I ain't gonna lie. They all suck.
Oh, it's weak. So but I would even like Devin Vassell. I would have took him too. At least he's a project, and you knew kind of he had more upside than a guy who was coming off the bench.
Facts.
Honestly. All right, man, that got us heated. But again, got to rebuild, no matter how bad it is. Now the last thing we're gonna talk about. Again, this was a team that we talked about that was going to be a contender so far. Struggling a little bit, still got a winning record. Again, they got Giannis, they got Damian Lillard, they got all the right pieces around them. Should we worry about the Milwaukee Bucks so far in the season? Is it too early to tell? Are we just judging this based on too early with Dame and Giannis and that he's still getting acclimated? How should we view it?
I feel like they're gonna find a way to pick it up, but they lost too much. You lost Grayson, you lost Javon Carter. Defensive you got more offense with Dame, but you lost the defense of Drew. To where like Chris Middleton and Giannis are guarding a lot more than normal.
Yep.
And Dame is guarding a lot more than normal. They should be able to pick it up because they got enough pieces, but I don't think you should be worried about them, but they do need to make some pieces, like some trades to go get some 3-and-D guys. Like, there's no way around it. Like, you can't be rocking out with Marchand Beauchamp and Bobby Portis over and over. You got to find a way to get some depth. And that was my biggest question about this Milwaukee team. Like, great job. You brought in Dame. But you did the same thing everybody else did. You gutted your depth. Like, Jay Crowder out now. Pat Connaughton, where has he been? Cameron Payne, I told you. I mean, I didn't think he was going to be like that since he left Phoenix. Phoenix was your home. You're a little bit iffy about leaving home.
Yeah.
Robin Lopez, I don't even think he's played a game yet. Brook Lopez, he's still being Brook, but like, you don't have that defensive presence of like those guys I named earlier, like a Drew, like a Javon Carter, even Grayson, just to make guys a little bit frustrated. Yeah. You need some more pieces. Like not need more pieces, but you need some more good role guys. Because Malik Beasley ain't cutting it.
Nope.
Marquise Bolden ain't cutting it. Like, you need some more pieces. There's a lot of young guys. A lot of young guys off that bench right now. They need some veteran pieces.
They need something.
They probably
I mean,
and it's too
again,
early.
we're only 10 games in, you know what I mean? We're only 10 games in. I still think that this team will be there at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I think
Philly. You think they beating Boston though?
No, I don't know.
Right now, at this point right now, no.
Let's say middle of the season, because Chris Middleton is also on a minutes restriction, understandably so, coming off of injuries in the offseason. But let's just say Milwaukee, Dame and Giannis would have to play the perfect game. Because Boston is just a monster right now. Defensively, they are a monster.
I was just about to say, that's a lot to ask. Nobody on the Boston right now in Milwaukee can guard Jason or Jalen.
No.
And then guess who comes back to Milwaukee for the series? Drew. Kristaps. I apologize. I did say he was gonna be traded.
I told you too. I told and we did that in the NBA draft day.
Really?
I told you that was a good trade.
I just didn't like it because of the shooting, but shit, it fits. Goddamn it, it really does fit.
Like, he is being aggressive. That's what I told you he was probably going to end up doing.
But then you still got Derek White, and the fact that their young talent is even bigger and longer and have more depth too, and they all have good minutes because they keep blowing people out. Boston, I don't know, gang. Boston's still the team to beat in the East. Still the team to beat, even down the stretch, because they only gonna get better. Milwaukee got to figure out defense, and then you got to figure out how Chris Middleton's really gonna integrate when he gets really healthy. I got Boston. Next year, maybe Milwaukee, depending on what they do. But Boston right now, this is their year. It might be Boston versus.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
I'm gonna say Boston versus Denver, but I really want Boston versus Phoenix because you know me. But
I would say so. I think because once Jamal Murray comes back and that team's fully healthy again, they were rolling already to start the season. Like, normally, especially too on Banner and Ring Night, like, they have like that high of like, okay, they'll come out and play like shit, but they thumped the Lakers, and the Lakers were talking all that trash the whole offseason. I'm like, we want to see them. No, you don't want to see this team because now they got even younger guys coming off the bench that are defensive-minded players.
You're not lying about that. And then defensive minded, understand their roles, but also I still think to this day the hardest thing to beat is a superstar that's like Nikola Jokic. Because the game isn't from a pure stand of like he has to do this in order to win.
Mm-hmm.
Him just being he's an unselfish guy. That's the whole ordeal to all of this. He doesn't look to score like that. He ain't down there like yeah, they give it to him, but he ain't out here like throw that ball to me. Like, nah. Game catch it, he might look, dish, wide open man, layup, rebound, bucket. Like he does all the dirty work for his guys. He keeps his team involved. That's really hard to beat, and it's real infectious. And then he believes in each guy that's on the floor with them. Like
exactly.
That's why I still got Denver coming out the West. I would like Phoenix, but like when you're looking up and down the line at these teams that's left, or like right now to start the season, I have to say it's Denver right now, and then it will be Boston right now. And then one team I'm not going to sleep on, and they were talking about it last week, and they proved me wrong throughout the rest of this week, was Minnesota.
I was going to say that as well. I still need to see. I still need to see more from Minnesota as the season gets down. I'm to kind of see more harshness. But I like what I'm seeing. I like it.
And that's why. And it was like the defense staying up, and they pulling out the big games. But then what's his face is starting to. Well, he was already picking it up. I'm just glad he's putting it on like being a more aggressive. That's Cat.
Yes. But he's still making dumbass decisions. Still making dumbass decisions. But
when you got freaking Anthony Edwards playing like he playing, man, it's a dangerous game.
I think he's really, just taking it upon himself at this point. Like, I'm the best player. You just gotta give me the ball. That's just what it is at the end of the day. But that brings us to a conclusion for episode number 66. Again, me and Isaac. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Check out the TikToks. Check out our Instagram page, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not already. It is completely free as well. Just helps us grow and helps us reach more people too. But thank you all again for tuning in. We'll see y'all next week. We should have at least all 4 of us, or again 3 out of the 4, be on the show next week for episode number 67 as we closely approach episode number 100, slowly but surely. So hopefully it'll obviously be after the new year, but we'll get there eventually. But thank y'all again for tuning in, and then we'll see y'all next week. Be on the lookout for some of the clips that are going to be showing out this week and all that as well. All right, y'all. Bye-bye.
All right, y'all.